This is Democracy Watch. Marc, we have an issue that is surging into the national spotlight right now, and that is that Donald Trump's White House went into court on February 17th, and he had his director of office administration file a sworn affidavit saying that Elon Musk is not an employee of DOGE. And then the following day, Trump came out and said this in public.
I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency and put a man named Elon Musk in charge. Thank you, Elon, for doing it. Thank you very much. And he's doing a great job.
So not much ambiguity there, Marc. This is Trump saying that he put Elon in charge of the very agency that his own White House one day earlier had sworn Elon Musk was not in charge of. So what are the legal implications here, given the fact that somebody is lying?
Okay, so I cannot believe I'm going to utter these words, but I believe Donald Trump. Let's be clear. When I saw that this affidavit or declaration got filed with the federal court, which, by the way, is it is subject to perjury, right? You cannot file false statements with federal judges, especially on an issue like this, which is like factual one way or the other,
right?
And also was very important in the case, right? The case was trying to challenge the fact that Elon Musk is not a presidential appointee and was not confirmed by the Senate. He's not what is referred to as a principal officer of the United States. And the argument was that because DOGE has all this decision-making authority throughout the federal government, its actions are invalid if the person running it is not a principal officer of the United States. So in comes this statement from this person in the White House saying, not only doesn't Elon Musk run DOGE, Elon Musk isn't even an employee of DOGE. Like, when I saw this, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or if you'll have to edit this out, it was fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just fucking weird. I mean, I'm sorry, what? Weren't we told that Elon Musk and Vivek, the guy running for governor, were we told they were the ones running DOGE, and then Elon Musk is running DOGE? So I tend to believe Donald Trump here. And again, I can't believe I'm saying that. It's crazy town.
And so how does that carry any weight when this White House employee, Joshua Fisher, comes forward and says something that is so aggressively antithetical to everything that Elon says, that the whole right-wing media ecosystem says, that Trump himself says? How can you go forward and tell a judge something that every shred of evidence pushes back against?
Well, here's the thing: is there is a factual answer. Okay, so if Mr. Fisher has, looked at the records and says, this is who administers DOGE, this is who's in charge of it, and here's the name, and, that was the person appointed by the president to do it. I mean, by the way, there would still be a lawsuit over whether that person is a principal officer. But then, I'm assuming that is what he is going to say, is that he saw that or he was told it and maybe he was given bad information. I don't know. I don't know what the argument is going to be. I do know this, that neither the Department of Justice that submitted the affidavit, nor in the declaration or affidavit, I don't remember which it was, but in that document itself, it does not say who is the head of DOGE. Right. It simply says that Elon Musk is a special government employee on a temporary basis, and he's basically just an advisor in the White House. So, for everything you see going on, everyone in America, about Elon Musk being in charge of things, including, standing in the Oval Office, answering questions while Donald Trump is hunched over his desk, basically babysitting Elon's kid, and getting insulted by him. Notwithstanding the fact that Donald Trump has Elon Musk sitting in a chair next to him with Hannity giving a joint interview. It turns out Elon Musk is just like some staffer, he's just some advisor. But look, I mean, there's a knowable answer to this, and it's going to get sorted out because there's going to be discovery in this case, and someone is going to get the documents, get the emails, maybe take depositions, and say, when they were discussing this internally, who were they saying was in charge of DOGE? When Elon Musk was giving interviews, who did he say was in charge of DOGE? When, his functionaries, his recent high school graduates were rummaging around various databases for DOGE, were they saying it was on behalf of Elon Musk? These are all knowable facts. So it's just so fucking weird.
Marc, all of this really is in service of a broader question here, which is what is happening with DOGE? Is there a legal basis for it? So let's say it's proven in discovery that, in fact, Elon Musk is the person in charge of DOGE, because of course he's the person in charge of DOGE. And so how is that, what are the legal implications in terms of what DOGE has done so far if it turns out that he is the person who's in charge?
So first of all, before we get to legal implications, Mr. Fisher is going to have to explain his affidavit. And I suspect that will become a subject of interest to the court. The lawyers who submitted it, they're going to have to explain themselves to the court, I suspect. I mean, I don't know, the judge can decide to look past this, although I strongly suspect the federal judge is not going to look past this because it's such a central issue in the case. But on the merits, you again wind up with the question of, well, does a private citizen, in this case, Elon Musk, even if he has been appointed for a temporary basis, a role in the federal government, can that person run something of as much a policy setting organization as he seems to be doing? Or does that person have to be an officer or principal officer of the United States? And that, then could invalidate all of the actions of DOGE if it violates what's referred to as the appointments clause, which requires these to be appointed under the Constitution. But I think that, like I said, there is a fundamental question, Brian, that frankly is starting to emerge as a storyline here. We heard a lot in the early days of Donald Trump's administration with the executive orders, and really even in the days leading up to that this was a White House that had planned all this out, that this was well lawyered, that this was all really thought through, that they had a strategy. They were not the bumbling idiots that we saw in 2017. And the question is that true? Or have they just been winging it? Like they winged it that he's in charge of DOGE. Now they're winging it. He's not in charge of DOGE. The lawyers don't really know which way's up. They're relying on whatever. Some guy named Fisher drew the short straw and was told something, so he filled out an affidavit. I think one of the things we're going to learn is whether this is all really well thought out and they do have this other person and it's all documented and buttoned up internally, or whether this is just a bunch of bullshit.
To that point, is there the possibility that this person who signed this affidavit, Joshua Fisher, can shoulder some legal exposure, some personal legal exposure, if he is signing sworn affidavits attesting to something that ends up being completely false?
Well, it depends on whether he knew it was false. It depends on what steps he took. When you swear something out, when you submit something to a federal court, it's subject to false statement and perjury requirements. But we don't know whether Fisher, like I said, relied on records, whether he relied on something he was told, or frankly, whether it turns out Elon Musk was never in charge of DOGE and he's been lying about that all along. It turns out, and it turns out Donald Trump didn't know. It turns out Donald Trump was all a big misunderstanding. The two of them and Vivek thought that they were all in charge of DOGE, but it turns out none of them ever were. You know who I think they're going to say, and I want the tape to reflect this. I think they're going to say Marco Rubio is in charge of DOGE, because Marco Rubio is the guy at the poker table that everybody is taking advantage of, right? Marco Rubio, he is there's an old Yiddish saying about a schlemiel and a schlemazel. The schlemiel is the one who spills the soup. The schlemazel is the one who winds up with the soup in their lap. I think Marco Rubio is definitely the schlemazel of this administration, and he will wind up being the administrator of DOGE.
Well, we will, of course, stay on top of this, given the fact that there are broader implications for maybe the legality of what DOGE is doing and has done at the IRS and Treasury and CFPB and all of these other agencies, and whether all of that stuff could stand. So we'll, of course, stay on top of it. I know that you've been covering it.
It's all going to turn on whether, Big Balls and, who is going through the records. Maybe the internal email is like, look, I am doing this on behalf of Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
The head of DOGE. Who knows?
Well, I know that you've been covering this extensively in Democracy Docket, which is the news outlet you founded to focus on everything voting in elections. Highly recommend for everybody watching right now to support independent media, to support Marc and his team, and to get the advantage of an invaluable resource in the journalism that they put forward. Please make sure to sign up for Democracy Docket. I'll put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen.
I'm Marc Elias.
This is Democracy Watch.